All right, let's try this. Take four. I'm Carlos. This is Spare Time. And today with me, my guest is one of my best friends, Mike Piercy. He is an avid outdoorsman with years of experience hunting and hanging out in the woods. He's a history junkie. He is a supervisor of knuckleheads, and he's a big time believer in Bigfoot. So,
I do believe.
what's up, Mike? Tell me a little bit about yourself.
How you doing? How you doing? Yeah, I know a little bit about a lot of things. Been around for about 3 years old here in Roseburg, good old Roseburg, Douglas County. That's where it is.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
And you were born in Alaska, right?
Fairbanks, Alaska. At the time, it was Fort Wainwright. That screwed me up at the DMV because I said I was born in Fairbanks. And they're like, no, you weren't. I was like, whoa, wait a minute. Yes, I was. And they said, no, your birth certificate says Fort Wainwright, which is fucking Fairbanks, Alaska.
What were your folks doing up there?
Dad was in the military. And that was his get out of Vietnam card. Did his 2 tours Vietnam and didn't want to go back, so he always called it a punishment. That's where they sent him. It was Fairbanks, Alaska.
Dude, I'd like to be punished like that.
So that's where I come from.
Nice. Well, obviously we're just recording this so that I can learn how to do all this stuff.
Yeah, trial and error.
But we are learning as we go here. So you are a big-time history junkie. I know you used to do a lot of reading. I think the internet has ruined that. I think you probably just read online now.
Yeah. If there's not pictures, I'm not reading it. You know. It's got to be a good video to go with that.
So what draws you to history? What do you like about it?
I just always, not per se anything to do with, nature, outdoor history, the regional history, Northwest, Oregon, Roseburg, Douglas County. I don't know. I can't pinpoint why. I just love it. It just, like I said, I know a little bit about a lot of topics, and that's always the way I've been. I was terrible in school, but by gosh, you can ask me some random, stupid, information. I could probably have an answer for you.
Well, I know whenever I'm interested in some piece of history, especially local history, you always seem to know something about it. What kind of stuff you been into lately?
Oh, just becoming a grandpa, watching the grandkids, the little ones, just enjoying life, I don't know, just the true at awe of how this whole thing works is being as you grow older, you're learning stuff every day. It's kind of keeps your interest, keeps you going, keeps you honest.
Yeah, stuff makes a lot more sense when you get old.
Yeah, yeah. Stuff you didn't even bother even worrying about when you were a kid, but here we are. That's what we do.
So what kind of stuff you been paying attention to lately?
Try not to get all wrapped up in political stuff. It's just that always is just an argument that doesn't need to be said. I like to live. I like to be no nonsense, no drama, low drama. It's kind of contrast to what I was like younger, because I loved drama then. But anymore, anything to take it easy. Lots of documentaries, listen to good music, good times with, loved ones and friends. That's what I'm into now.
Yeah, I know we've talked about it in the past, but my earliest memories of you were like in high school, and I would show up at parties, and for whatever reason, I had a bad reputation also.
No.
And I would show up at parties, and people would be like, Mike Piercy's here, and he wants to fight you. And I think we maybe met each other once or twice, but, we definitely never fought.
There was no anger. It was all, hey, let's drink. Okay, let's party. Woo.
I think we were just those guys that had that kind of reputation. So,
Yeah, unfortunately, yes.
and maybe sometimes we earned it, but that was fine.
Lots of bruises and scraped knuckles. That's growing up.
Um, so you're not a huge gun guy, but you do like guns. Obviously, most of your experiences with hunting guns and
Sure.
that kind of stuff. What kind of stuff are you into now?
After lately, there was a stint that I kind of went into a lot of different aspects of hunting or shooting sports. I was into shotguns for a long time, trap shooting. Went away from that. Then it was building your own guns. That was pretty cool for a while. Then kind of got away from that. Long range shooting for a little bit, dabbled in that, and then kind of got away from it. Just always interests me to check out the newest and latest things in the industry, and never really was a AR guy, but I can say I got several now, and pistols. I never was, I had the hand-me-down revolvers from family heirlooms, whatnot, and the last 5 years, I've collected and bought several pistols, and I'm into I love my 5.7. I'll talk that up all the time. I love it. A lot of people don't, but it's a badass little machine.
I think it's fun to shoot.
Kind of spendy right now, but it's fun. Other than that, I just, anything that sparks an interest and you can gather around and get with good friends and have at her.
Yeah, I know. I'm really into suppressors, you know that, but I know you haven't really gotten into it yet.
Not yet.
But we'll convert you over there.
Probably the next step. Yes.
Yeah. What kind of stuff are you looking forward to checking out? I mean, is there some stuff you've seen on the internet or whatnot that makes you interested?
Well, I've never been in one end of the concealed carry everywhere you go type of person. I like a full size gun. I just like the feel of it. I'm more comfortable that way. There are some newer products that are interesting me, and for a compact style gun, that low profile, whatnot, you can conceal good. I've taken the concealed class, I think 3 times now, and I've never turned my paperwork in.
You just like paying the money?
Yeah. The more you know, I guess. I'll get to the point to where, yes, I will. My main concern is,
if it's within arm's reach in your truck, that counts as concealed.
Definitely. And that's always been the whole driving force of getting the concealed thing was for my vehicle. I could care less about carrying it around with me, but I don't want to break the law like I unfortunately have been, because I always have a gun in the truck. That's for growing up. The era of you could have a hunting rifle in your gun rack in the high school parking lot. You can't do that no more. And
I know you might offend somebody.
Yeah, someone might cry.
You pull in, and nowadays you pull in with a gun rack in your window with a couple guns. They're like, "Oh, there's gonna be a school shooting."
Yeah, unfortunately, that's the time, the age, and how she works.
So, how'd you become such a big believer in Bigfoot?
I don't know, folklore, Indian lore. It's just always interested me in the what ifs, I guess you could say the majestic side of the possibility. And, definitely 100%. You can't prove me wrong, or 100% you can't say no, or 100% you can't say yes. So,
well, one of my early hunting memories is my family. I was on a hunting trip over in the Steens with my family, and I was young. I don't know what age I was. I will tell you this. During that hunting trip, I went snipe hunting, shaking a bag in the woods.
Paper bag, here we go.
Saying, here, snipey, snipey. And so I know I was young enough to do that.
Right.
Well, during that same hunting trip, my aunts and my uncles and grandpa and everybody went out on a hunt, and they came back a couple hours later, and my uncle was like white as a ghost, sitting in the back of the truck with my cousins.
He became a believer.
And he had freaking dropped his rifle in the woods and left it there and ran out of the woods, said he saw Bigfoot. And I don't know if he ever hunted after that or not, but I just know
he was converted.
He was freaking scared to death.
Yeah.
And I don't think you could fake that. And I don't think it'd be worth faking it, leaving a rifle in the woods.
No kidding.
And
you definitely seen something that didn't settle right.
Yeah, something happened. And he swore up and down for the whole rest of his life that he saw Bigfoot. And to this day, my cousins are kind of like, yeah, we don't talk about that trip, but he saw something that scared the shit out of him.
Yeah.
So what kind of things like that have you heard about, or have you had anything like that happen to you?
Never really personal experience, just stories of everything. I did actually get the opportunity to sit with a gentleman out in just west of Sutherland. I can't think of his name right now. He's wrote several books on it, but he swears that he had coffee with Bigfoot all the time. And I got to meet him before he passed and had some pretty good conversation about it. And several logging, you never know if it's just a BS story or conversation piece but there's definitely people that have been shaken so much that it changed their whole attitude on being in the forest and being in the outdoors. And a good friend of mine's stepdad was a fire watchman for a logging show, local. And to the day he passed, swears that his trailer, he was visited one night, and we always say, yeah, whatever, and we went up there, and sure enough, there was big muddy prints all over the side of his trailer, and it was knocked off of the blocks. Who knows what happened? Who knows if
he probably just wanted a freaking hams and some fucking Jimmy Dean sausage.
Exactly. And but it's you research it just like anything. You look into there's history of it, and every civilization throughout mankind has a story about the man in the woods, the hairy man, Bigfoot, Sasquatch, whatever you want to call it.
I kind of think
so. It's hard not to say.
Those stories come from somewhere.
Yeah.
I think there's too many sightings and stories for there not to be some truth to it.
Yeah. Yep.
So
I believe
I've heard a million different theories on what or where Bigfoot comes from. Lately I've heard a bunch, like Joe Rogan talks on his podcast. I think he's really gone to the point where he believes in the hollow earth thing.
Oh yeah.
And that Bigfoot is coming out of these like portals and rocks that open up. So I don't know if that's true or not. What do you think? Where do you think Bigfoot comes from?
He's the world leading hide and seek expert. So
that's taking it lightly. Yeah.
I don't know. Hey, it possibly could be that he is so far advanced, smarter than any of us could ever imagine being, that he's just sitting back laughing, whatever.
Do you think he's like from this world?
No, I do believe that he was probably an early, this is, a theory, of course, watching a lot of ancient alien shows, and he's probably a prisoner and he was sent here to observe away from his home.
So you think he's like an alien then?
Yeah.
Or
definitely.
from another dimension or
Definitely.
something like that?
Multi-dimensional, yeah.
Yeah, it seems to it makes sense. I'm reading a book. Well, I'm listening to a book right now. And in that, they call them the old ones. I think that's what they call them. And that's what they're like, these Native Americans, and that's what they refer to him as.
Definitely.
But they think he's from another dimension.
Yeah.
Like basically a a dimension that's the same as ours, but just like different.
Yeah, I mean,
And and that he can travel between dimensions, and that's why nobody's found one. Because whenever someone gets close, he just jumps back to his regular dimension.
Right. So, if you get,
so I don't know. I honestly, like a lot of things, I personally think there's too much out there to not be some truth to it.
Sure.
So I think he's something. I don't know what, but yeah.
Yeah, the absolute of no. I've never been one to.
I know my wife believes.
Always question.
I think my wife believes just because she wants to be like best friends with him.
Well, of course,
so, I don't know if she really believes.
They're going to go on hiking trips and stuff.
She thinks it's hilarious when I get cornered by like true believers and they have to tell me all about it. And well, you know me, I'm not.
I do
like all humor people. But I'm also making fun of them at the same time.
Like, yeah, shut the hell up. I'm done with this.
I'm pretty good at making people think that I'm really interested, and at the same time making fun of them. So
right.
And they don't realize it, but that's me. That's how I deal with things.
Honest. That's the way you do it.
So next week you're coming with us to watch Rodney Norman.
Yes, sir. That's going to be great. Just phenomenal. I like stuff that makes me laugh. And seeing him for the first time, like, I want to say it was probably 3 years ago. I don't know if it was Instagram or it might have been TikTok. I'm not sure. But it just, holy shit, that guy is funny.
Yeah.
And followed his progression through his.
Have you watched some of his stand-up online?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, I had never seen his stand-up. I had only seen
just the snippets,
the little Instagram stuff, which is not his stand-up.
No.
And I thought that was hilarious. That's why when I saw it posted on Facebook, I was like, oh, we got to go to this.
We got to go. It's going to be great.
I think it's going to be fun.
Yeah.
And then the funny thing is the other comedians that are performing, one of them, I can't remember his name, but he's the guy that runs the Record Loft here in town.
Sure.
And then the other one is the lady who actually started all the paperwork and got me set up to buy this business.
Really?
Yeah, I had no idea she was a comedian. I think that's freaking cool as hell. So I can't wait to see them perform also.
Yeah. That'll be interesting. That'll be a hell of a night, I think.
Yeah. So we're doing it. It's at Urban Blends down here. And I've never been in there. I've seen pictures on Facebook and stuff. But I went there just when I decided to get tickets. I was just going to go over there and buy tickets.
Sure.
Well, if you've never been there, it looks like an abandoned warehouse. Right. There's no sign. There's nothing. I mean, it literally looks like there's like 3 or 4 warehouses in this parking lot and just like random junk and stuff between them. The only reason I knew which one it was because they do a lot of events and stuff, and they do fruit wine. And so they have a food truck trailer.
Right.
And that's parked in front of it. That's the only reason I knew which building it was. Otherwise, it's just an abandoned warehouse in a parking lot.
Without you, I would have never found it or even heard of it because, I don't come to town very much. I try to avoid.
Yeah, I've met the people that run it, though, and they are super awesome. So I'm looking forward to checking it out.
I think it'll be fun.
Yeah, it's going to be a good time. But I know Sarah and her friends are looking forward to going, and it'll be something to talk about, that's for sure.
Yes.
So, what kind of books and stuff have you been reading or listening to?
Oh, lots of online stuff now. Lots of podcasts. I think you mentioned ebooks or whatever you want to call them.
Yeah.
Fortunately, I have a job that allows me to do a lot of internet time.
Well, that's because they don't like you on the floor talking to employees.
Yeah, I scare people. Some say I'm not very nice, but whatever.
You're a social butterfly.
I'm just a guy and I love it. But anyways, I just a random basket full of nothing that I can say that I am dedicated to. I can't miss a show, but anything that just as you scroll through YouTube, and the random.
Is there any
interesting.
Favorite podcasts of yours or anything?
I don't like a lot of political stuff. I like, if it is going to be political, I do like the what do you call it? I would say libertarian. I'm not a government fan. Limited government is always in history throughout the world is good in my point of view. I don't like leaning extremes either way, left, right. I could give two shits less. I'm me.
I know last time we were
like.
at Clinton, we were listening to the Unsubscribe podcast.
Unsubscribe,
and,
yeah.
Those guys are just a bunch of like vets and stuff that like to have fun, and they make me laugh.
A lot of comedy stuff, comparable like the Bob and Tom show. Just little stupid stuff that makes you laugh, you know, and kind of pokes fun at everything. There's no, that's what I like. There for a while, I have to admit, I was on the Jordan Peterson kick, and more so for the, I don't know, controversy of someone telling him what he's going to do, and he's like, the hell, I'm going to do it. You know, that kind of, I like that. Joe Rogan, yeah, because he has the gambit of everything.
I love listening to Rogan, except for when he,
yeah,
like he'll get hung up on something.
I know, and then
he'll bring it up like in every interview for like a month after that. Yeah. Like it doesn't matter what they're talking about. He will make sure to get on that point at some point during his speaking conversation.
Timcast, I watch them, and you know they're for that exact point. It's Civil War, and, you know, like whatever. I'll scroll, go to the next.
Yeah. I listen to a lot of them. You know what's funny is I noticed I was kind of looking at my YouTube, what I watch on YouTube, and I swear more than half the stuff I watch on YouTube is all either they're related with, they have something to do with Black Rifle Coffee, or they're like a friend of someone from Black Rifle Coffee, or I just kind of like all those guys and all those girls and whatever. I think they're all hilarious, and I enjoy listening to that stuff.
Total different personalities, and you know that's great. You need the variety, you know.
Yeah,
I don't want to be pigeonholed into one thing, and
I think a lot of it also is because a lot of them are. I mean, they have stuff to do with guns and whatnot. So
sure,
you know that's industry, my business.
Right.
So I kind of look for stuff that's related to my business, but I also listen to lots of motivational stuff. You know that, and then. I always like to laugh. Half the time when you come over to my place, we're watching stand-up comedy.
Yes. Anything, like I said, anything that makes me laugh, I'm into it.
Yeah.
And then, you know, if I'm not a feelings guy, but if it's something that like I'm not into and like whatever, you know, like I said, scroll, go to the next. Let's find a good Bigfoot movie.
That's the best thing about the internet is if you don't want to watch it, just freaking 2 seconds and you can find 50 million other things to watch.
I have found myself, you know, on the local Facebook stuff to unwind and read the local community groups and stuff like that. It's just hilarious to me.
Well, you're always telling me about Southern Oregon Scanner all the time.
Laugh my ass off at the stupidity that some people do and post and write out on there. It's so hard not to be a smart ass and type something bad. It's just you're fighting the urge.
Once you see that stuff, you have to read the comments because the comments are always the best.
Yes, and that it's to me, it's entertainment. That's what I do.
And the best part is watching people that respond to this stuff. They
take it as like you know, you could tell, you could just envision their faces enraged.
Yeah, people get bent out of shape on the stupidest stuff.
Always tease your wife about stuff. The one on asshole parking or something like that. That just was hilarious to me. And
she tells me all the time. She's like, I'm surprised I've never seen your truck on there.
I love it. I've actually taken pictures of her. I posted this. She said, you better not.
Yeah, I'm surprised I've never been on there either. I mean,
you probably have,
but
you just don't
honestly. I do that for other people. I don't do that for me.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm a fat guy, dude. When I get out of my truck, I swing my door all the way open. And if there happens to be a vehicle there, it's going to get a dent. So I park so that nobody's going to park next to me.
In my line of business, you know, I got access to painting supplies and bodywork supplies. So you want to ding my door? Watch out, buddy. Check this out. I'll show you how to ding a door. I will spend an extra 3 or 4 swings of the door just to prove a
I
point.
don't know though. You don't have a lot of time
It's like, oops.
to actually do jobs because
No,
I know
just-
I've got a hood on my pickup
I
truck
know.
that's been waiting to be painted for
years.
years.
A couple
now.
years now, yeah.
Yeah.
No, fortunately for me, I got people that like are bored and I don't have nothing to do. Oh, yeah, you do. I just had an incident at Ray's parking lot. Fix this real quick.
So we just need to disguise us as an incident, and my hood can get done.
Yep.
Right on. So
It's all about the booth time.
speaking of the internet, have you seen this whole thing with freaking Jake Paul gonna fight Tyson?
What the fuck?
What do you think's gonna happen there?
2 scenarios. It's either all about money and Mike Tyson's going to get an ass load of money.
Well, Mike Tyson has plain out said,
Or-
I'll fight anyone for freaking money.
Or it's going to be Jake Paul is going to be in the hospital.
Yeah.
2 punches. Because there's...
He can fight. I've watched a couple of clips. The
Dude,
kid can fight. I hate him, but he can fight.
Mike Tyson is a different species.
Oh, yeah, dude. I think Tyson's going to destroy him.
He could easily walk into the sport
but
right
Mike Tyson's
now.
going to be almost 60 years old.
Yeah,
He's in good shape.
I tell you what, if it was straight up legitimate, Jake Paul's going to get hurt.
I think so, dude. I hope so.
Like brain trauma hurt. And even though this is just an expedition, and I don't know.
Dude,
Like I said, I think they're going to offer 2 scenarios. They could offer Tyson just ridiculous millions and millions, hundreds of millions of dollars just to lay down. And he might be at the age to where he's like, okay, give me money, fuckers. Do it.
I don't know. I don't think he'd do it.
It's frustrating.
I think he's got too much pride. I think if you pay him to fight, he'll fight.
Yeah.
But I don't think he'll make the fight go the way you want it to go. I might be wrong.
Money talks. And he's been robbed so much.
I think he's got plenty of money.
Yeah. I don't know. I just have a hard time to even look at that as serious. To me, it's like, holy shit.
I think it might be like a flashback to when he was fighting.
Something I would have done when I was in my 20s, Yeah, okay.
You remember back when there was all the pay-per-view fights?
Yeah.
And people would pay all this money for a fucking Tyson fight?
And then it would
be over in 14
2 rounds.
seconds.
Yeah. Didn't even pass the first round. It's done.
Like three hits and it's over.
At the time, that was a waste of $49.
Yeah. I love it.
Yeah.
I think it might be a flashback to that.
I hope so. I hope he shuts that kid up for a while because I don't like the tough man syndrome. I have a hard time taking people serious that way.
Yeah. I think it'll be hilarious. Though.
Yep. Good times. Good betting odds. I don't know if you're into gambling that way.
Yeah, you could make some money on that for sure. I think that a lot of these internet people are, trying to stay relevant or whatever.
Yeah,
but
definitely,
this one might be putting himself in a little bit of danger.
Yeah, it's sure seems that way. And
I don't know. When I heard about the fight, I went online and I kind of looked a little bit because I remember him.
No way.
Last time I watched anything that had him in it, he was like opening Pokemon card packs and seeing how much money he could make off of opening packs of Pokemon and selling them online. And I was like, "What the fuck is this?" And so then I looked at some of his other stuff, and I mean, he's almost unrecognizable now from when he started.
Well,
and I mean, he's been working out and learning how to fight and stuff.
Yeah,
but he's such a shit talker.
Someone posted one of his very first legitimate, I don't know, viral videos of him lip syncing, like he just got out of the shower and he was in.
Yeah, he's done like everything possible to get relevant on the internet.
It's like, I think it said something like, "This is the man that wants to fight Tyson." And he's lip syncing to some stupid ass song. And
that's awesome.
I don't know. It's one of them terrible scenes at a bar.
It's proof
end
that
bad.
you can do anything, though.
Yeah.
Now
Yeah.
with the internet now, you can literally do anything and eventually make a living if you fucking hit at it.
Luckily, you and our kids didn't fall for that shit. And
I still hear all the time. Dominic tells me all the time.
Yeah,
I think I want to become a YouTuber.
I was just gonna say, our youngest, they're kind of.
Yeah, and I'm like, dude,
shut up, go to work.
You can't even take the garbage out correctly. I don't think you have enough freaking drive to put the work in to do whatever you need. Because I think it's a lot of hard work.
I'm the next Bieber.
I mean, these guys that are YouTubers that are making money. I mean, I watch a lot of the gun tubers or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
And, I mean, they've been doing it since they were like 14, 15 years old.
Right.
And, I mean, they've only been making money at it for maybe the last 5 years.
Yeah.
So, I mean, these guys, and most of them I think are probably in their late 20s or whatever. So, I mean, they're still young.
Sure.
But that's a long time.
Yeah, to be
to
vested
work your
into
ass
something
off.
and not doing something.
I mean, they're making shit tons of money now. But,
yeah.
dude, I don't think I would have stuck with something like that for that long.
No, hell no.
I mean, not that I'd be in any worse of a place than I am now, but whatever.
Hopefully they'll never forget that privilege that they have.
Yeah.
To be able to do that. I know myself, I didn't have that privilege. I'm pretty goddamn sure you did.
If I would have tried to sit in front of a computer.
My dad would smack me so hard.
Well, not that we really had a choice.
No.
Because I remember my first computer was like a Tandy 1000.
Yeah.
And that was
the closest thing we had was Atari.
And video games were like words. They didn't even have pictures. So, yeah.
We're going to have a family night of playing Pong.
Yeah.
That's all we do.
Yeah, I remember when we got
Asteroids.
Our first, what was your first video game system?
The Atari 60, I can't even, 2000?
Atari 64, yeah.
Yeah.
6400 or
I don't know.
Mine was
black console.
Mine
with the joystick
was
handles.
in television. And it was, I loved it. It was awesome.
That was the tank game and
we had like Burgerville USA.
Oh, yeah.
I don't remember what else was on there. It didn't have any of the super popular games at the time, but
right.
I remember my dad brought that home, and he brought that home and we set it up, and I felt like we were rich.
You're going to school and say, guess what we got?
I know, and that's what we felt like, because it was such a big deal back then.
Yeah,
I mean, and literally. This is within a year or two of color TV. So,
sure. We had one. And if we, I do remember we had a little bitty, probably 17-inch maybe, just a big ass brick thing, black and white. And if we didn't want to watch what mom and dad were watching, that's what me and my sister got stuck. Go over there by the table in the dining room. You can screw around with the antennas and watch something on one channel. Get out of here.
Dude, I remember that. I remember it being like changing the channel was such an ordeal.
So we got, I want to say, junior high era. My sister was 3 years older than me. We got a satellite system with the big dish, and my dad didn't want the manual changer. So to change satellites, you had to go out there and hand crank the goddamn thing. And that was always fun. MTV, the very first when MTV happened, I remember we got to stay up till midnight to watch the very first showing.
Michael Jackson Thriller, dude.
Yeah, I can't remember.
I think that premiered at 10 o'clock at night, and I remember we got to stay up late to watch it.
For some reason, the Madonna, like a virgin, and that sticks in my mind. And then the very first episode, it was probably a year or two after, of Headbangers Ball, Quiet Riot, And I remember my dad coming into the kitchen and dining room, and that he friggin' turned it off. What the hell are you watching this shit for? We're like, what?
Dude, MTV was the best
Oh
back
yeah,
then. I remember
I
that.
think Martha, I can't remember her last name, and then whatever the other guy's name that does the New Year's drop now. I think he was one of the original DJs. It was interesting. Good times.
Yeah.
Best time ever to grow up as a kid. And
Yeah, I think kids nowadays miss out on that kind of stuff.
yeah.
Because everything's so available to them.
Yep.
They don't have any. I don't know. We got to look forward to that stuff.
Yeah.
Like we'd plan for days before that stuff.
Just like our era. We had the big ass thick Sears catalog or Montgomery Ward's catalog with the toys section in there. The wish list.
Yeah, you had to actually go places to do things. You could just like phones and everything else.
Now, yeah, unheard of.
Yeah, and that's why so many things that we did when we were kids don't exist now. Like
luckily,
cruising Harvard. Cruising Harvard doesn't exist because of the social media.
Of course, but just imagine the shit that we'd be liable for if there was a video of it or pictures of it.
I would have been in jail years ago for stuff because we did so much stupid shit.
Just random dumb shit.
And I would have been totally recording it if I could have.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Yeah, and I don't know. Nowadays, these kids, they just don't. It's insane.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. I know Jacob and his buddy, when they found a boat up in the woods and freaking started dragging it around. And they immediately posted videos of them doing that.
Why would you
and
do
Sarah's
that?
like, take those videos down before the cops see them.
Yeah.
And they did. And so
what are you talking about?
trouble.
We were having fun. Why
And they
would
didn't do anything wrong other than hooking a rope to this freaking boat that was already there.
In the wood, yeah.
But that kind of shit just cracks me up, I would, and I couldn't do anything but laugh because I would have done the same
hell
thing,
yeah.
dude. Same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did all sorts of stupid shit.
Now the whole meaning of what was that? The dumbass kid syndrome stuff that your dad would always, you dumbass. Damn kids,
And the kids nowadays, they have more opportunity to do stuff too because they have a lot more than we had when we were kids.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, our kids,
fortunately,
they're up in the woods driving their trucks around and scrapping and doing all this stuff.
Yeah.
Dude, we weren't driving trucks. I was driving a freaking Renault Alliance
car. Yeah.
Front wheel drive car that had a blown head gasket.
Yeah.
I mean, that my dad got for free. That's the only reason I had it.
Yeah.
And like the first 20 cars I had didn't even cost $500.
No.
When my tires got bald, I used to go to the freaking used tire warehouse and dig through their giant pile of trash tires until I found one the right size,
but it's close.
And if it didn't have threads showing, I'd put those on. We used to call them Mexican racing slicks.
There you go.
And none of these kids nowadays do that. I mean, I remember like when we went to the high school, there was maybe half a dozen new cars in that parking lot.
Yeah.
You go there now, and every car in there is $30,000 plus. Yeah. There's nobody that's got doors held shut with bungee cords and duct tape.
Yeah,
you don't see any of that stuff.
I don't know how it worked with you, but I know for me and my sister, we both had to we had to come up with money, or at least I think my sister's car was a Dodge Colt. Was her very first one. Mine, I traded my dirt bike for a '59 Ford pickup that, like you say, that door hinge over there's broke, or
yeah,
don't use the passenger door because the fucker will fly open on you.
Yeah, I had a '69 Dodge pickup for a very short period of time, and one time I pulled it into the parking lot there at the high school. And when I went over that first speed bump, my tailgate fell off. I had to stop and jump out and throw my tailgate in the back of my pickup. This is embarrassing, dude. Yeah. But you go through that parking lot, there's not any shitty cars.
No.
I mean, nobody even knows what that is.
Exactly.
I don't understand how I
It's
mean,
just
I know they
society's-
have more opportunity now,
Right.
but how does it even go to that point where that stuff doesn't even really exist?
I don't know, because that was a huge part of learning of how, responsibility and shit worked for you.
Yeah, I just don't get it. It doesn't make sense to me.
Soft times, I don't know.
I'm going to pause this for a second. I need to get a drink.
Let's do it.
Fuck. Oh, all right. We're back. We're back to it. Oh.
Good
fresh
break.
glass of whiskey. I'm good to go.
Good break.
Yeah, I'm just glad that this thing's recording
I know.
it's supposed to.
It's going to work out great for you.
I'm not going to admit to operator error, but
No.
there's a 99.9% chance that it was all operator error.
Deny. That's the name of the game.
Yeah, but I'm learning. I'm learning.
Next to video.
Well, it's going to be a while for this video, dude, because I got to learn one thing at a time, and it just took me how many? I mean, we did 3 takes before this one started actually working.
Yeah, this is the 4th one.
So
my favorite phrase from an employee will be "fair enough." Anyways, long story.
Oh, so you work at North River,
Yes, sir.
and surprisingly enough, you don't own a North River.
No, I have a smoker craft.
Yeah.
A Lund. Yeah,
And that boat is scary to ride in.
it works.
It's not made for 2 fat guys.
No, no, it's not.
Feels like I'm going to go over every time one of us stands up.
Yeah, it's one of the ones you get in, you sit down, and you don't move.
Yeah. But that's cool. And what do you do there?
I guess several different titles. I guess I want to say on the payroll it says paint shop day shift paint shop lead. So basically floor supervisor. I have my boss, which is the paint manager. He would be above me. I do all the crap that he doesn't want to do.
Which is a lot of crap.
It's a lot of crap. Unfortunately. It keeps me busy, pays my bills. I love it. Wouldn't have it any other way. Gives me stuff to bitch about. But
You've done a little bit of everything there, because I remember when I started, when you started back there, I think you were welding and shit.
I've always been in the paint department, but I was on nights for the first 2003 to probably 2010, I think 10 or 13. I was on night shift, and so that gave me a lot of opportunity to play with the welders, and
I know you made my freaking cab guard for my old pickup.
I had a lot of free time and a lot of booth time that we could get away with doing stuff like that, and the opportunity to. It's one of those things where, if I don't admit that I know how to melt metal together, then they'll never ask me to do it.
I know years ago in other jobs that I've had, when you work the shift that has the least amount of people,
Yeah.
you tend to fix problems that normally you'd wait for other people to fix.
Oh, definitely. You have to.
So, because you're like, I just want to get this job done.
Yeah.
So you just learn how to do other stuff so you can get the job done.
MacGyver it. Make it work. Get it out of here. Yeah.
Years ago, I worked at Bayliner and with my little brother. And one of the things that we would do together, we worked in totally different areas of that place, but you could get overtime if you wanted to come in on the weekend and do repairs out in the freaking
in the lot.
the lot.
Yeah.
And so we would take, cordless tools and cut the plastic on these boats. And it was like 150 degrees inside the plastic,
Baking,
dude.
dry rotting.
And we'd get in there and we'd do all these stupid repairs. We're installing handles and he's fixing carpeting and it was just stupid stuff like that. And I mean, it was fun. I mean, we got to learn lots of different random things, but when you're out there, you don't want to walk all the way back up to
No.
the plant. So you just find ways to make things
you
work.
make it work, yeah.
And when you try to fix something and there's somebody else's stuff that's messed up behind it,
Yeah.
you just got to figure out how to fix it. So that's what we did too. And that was always fun. I miss those days because that was something fun I did with my little brother.
Yeah. The memories, yeah.
Yeah.
Good times.
So, I don't know. What else you got going on, man?
Getting old, being a dad, grandpa, just enjoying life, I guess, enjoying life and bitching about life at the same time. And
Well, I think that's what life is. Dude.
yeah. That
You take the good with the bad. And
Yep.
You bitch about it all.
Conversation pieces in between.
Yeah. I do the same thing. So you've got your youngest is doing construction now.
Yeah. Start off with I had 2 litters of kids. I had my first 2, pretty good gap. Then I had 2 more, adopted 2 in the between, and they're all productive.
They're all scattered too. I mean, they've all got totally different places in life.
I got a 30-year-old, 31-year-old, and a 20-year-old. So
you're fucking old, dude.
Yeah. Jonathan will be 20, I do believe, this year. So he just entered the construction world, and he's loving it, and couldn't ask for anything better. I didn't want to be that parent that forced something on a child, like,
Well, you got kids doing everything, though. I mean, you got kids.
Yeah.
You got unemployed kids. You got kids that are in construction. You got kids that are. You got a kid that's a hairdresser, right? Or a nail tech.
Nail tech. Yeah.
Nail tech.
She just got her license and starts to do that.
And your other daughter's just a stay-at-home mom, right?
Mom
She
for
just
right
raises
now.
her kids.
Yeah.
And
my oldest boy, he does a little bit of handyman construction work over on the coast.
Yeah. I think it's cool. I mean, they're all doing
big gambit
different
of
things.
everything.
You got freaking a crap ton of grandkids now.
Obviously, I was never in the situation to where I could pay for them to go to a higher education thing, which I don't really think that works in the first place. But
yeah, I don't know.
I would never force it upon the kid. Is basically.
Yeah. And I don't know. I kind of think
trade schools
and stuff I think are the way to go anyways, but I think I don't think any of your kids aren't happy. So I mean,
no,
they all seem
happy.
super stoked all the time when I see them.
Yeah. I mean, just typical, they got their complaints and all that, but
and
they're making it work.
Gavin, I think, needs to become a stand-up comedian.
Yeah, he's
hilarious. He doesn't know what he wants to do, anyways.
He's living free.
So I think we need to convince him to do some open mics and see what happens.
Big redheaded hippie, free spirited boy. I love him to death. He's got every opportunity.
What cracks me up though is
right now
when you talk to the kids.
Yeah,
the girls are the closest to you out of all of them.
Personality wise, probably, yeah.
They have the biggest I don't give a fuck attitude.
No, and nobody's gonna bullshit and steamroll them. I can guarantee that.
I feel bad for their old men, dude, because they got to get freaking just beat up on.
They definitely learned how to put their foot down.
Yeah, no, I dig it. I hope my girls are like that.
I think they will be, definitely.
Yeah,
that's the thing is. You teach them young, and I'm always a firm believer on kids learn what they see, and hopefully, I'm not perfect in any means, but hopefully I influenced them well. That's where I'll leave it. I think
you're doing a pretty good job.
That's where I'll leave it at that.
You're definitely not doing any worse than me. So
no.
If I say you're doing a good job,
that's a compliment.
It comes back onto me too, right?
Right.
That means I'm doing all right.
Definitely.
So
we're both blessed.
You've been doing it all by yourself though most of the time.
Yeah.
I'm lucky. My Sarah does everything for me.
Yeah.
So
So she's doing it all by herself, right?
I try and contribute,
No.
but she takes the lead.
You guys
for
are
sure.
awesome. I loved you both to death. You guys are the shit.
Yeah, well, she keeps me in line, that's for sure.
Yeah.
So we should talk about hunting, dude.
Let's do it.
We need to go hunting this year. We skipped. I
Hunting.
pretty much skipped this last year.
You know me for the last 10 plus years. When's the last deer I killed?
Dude, you shot that buck in the butthole, dude.
Yes, I did.
That was the last one I remember.
It didn't get away.
No, I just remember you shot it,
Yeah.
and I was like, I looked at you, and I was like, "Did you just shoot that deer in the asshole?" And you're like, "Yes, I did." And I was like, "You're gutting that thing."
Yeah. Hey, we got some meat in the freezer. Not much, but we did it.
Oh, he was just peeling out like a cartoon character.
Nothing went to
too.
waste. Let's put it that way.
I just remember he was trying to get away.
Yeah, he didn't make it very far.
Yeah. Well, that's what happens when you freaking get out to glass a unit over
Yeah, by chance.
without any rifles.
30 yards from the vehicle. Hey, there's a buck running up the road. Which one of our fat asses is going to make it to the truck to get the gun?
Yeah. That was poor planning.
Good times.
Poor planning.
It worked out.
Yeah. Yeah. Hunting is different now. So,
Yeah.
so we're, out of shape and getting older, and there's not as much of that tromping through the woods for miles.
No, there isn't. But it just works out in our benefit. I can only think of one that we really struggled at. All the other ones were stupid deer. The one walked right to you. The other one we had to call and have some backup because we tried pulling it uphill and downhill.
Well, that was after trying to go through those 8-foot tall blackberry bushes.
Blackberries suck.
But yeah, so this year, I think we need to make sure that I think we need to go out and have like a deer camp and an elk camp.
Yeah.
So two different camps during the year, and
definitely
spend some time out there in the woods. I don't know.
I would love it.
I mean, I would love to have some meat in the freezer, but honestly, I just look forward to it.
Just the social time and getting away.
Nice to get away and
relax.
Anyone that's ever been to our camps knows that we eat like freaking kings.
We probably eat better at camp than we do at home.
Yeah. It's also the only time of the year that I freaking smoke a cigar every night.
Yeah, there's that. That's total relaxation.
Otherwise, it's like one every couple weeks.
Yeah.
And I also drink like every day too at camp. So
that's unheard of. What?
Which I don't do that during the regular year usually either.
No.
And we're a bad influence on other people too.
We are. Yes.
But whatever. I think it's good for them. Makes them tougher.
Excellent stories. Excellent. Just memories. That'll be there for.
Dude, maybe I can figure out a way to set up all this equipment and we can do
out in the
podcasts in the woods.
Yeah.
While we're just trashed at elk camp.
Maybe we'll see Bigfoot and have him sit down and have a conversation.
Bigfoot would be good on a podcast.
I know.
What do you think he'd talk about? How stupid people are.
He's like his own stand-up comedian act.
We could ask him about his close calls.
God.
When did you almost get seen?
And he'd just grunt
look
at
me
us
all the time. They don't even notice.
Roll his eyes.
Yeah, he probably thinks we're dumber than a bag of rocks.
Oh,
dude.
Definitely. Because we are. That's why the aliens haven't fucking came out and said we're here.
I'll tell you what, until I started running the store, I never realized how much optics make a difference when it comes to hunting.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I'm pretty sure now that I've played with some good optics,
right?
I'm pretty sure that I've looked at 1 million deer and didn't even see them because my optics sucked.
Yeah.
And then now I've got better stuff and I can see so much clearer. And I don't even have the best stuff.
No.
I mean, there's better stuff than what I got, so I can only imagine
it's better than using
what I'm missing still.
Piece of glass that, random.
I never knew.
$29 Walmart job.
Yeah, I never knew that. I mean, I always thought that you were just paying for the name.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that there really was a difference in quality.
Yeah.
And there definitely is. It's crazy to me. especially at least in optics. I mean, there's some stuff that I haven't got the opportunity to play with, but
Sure.
I think I'm here pretty soon. I'm really thinking about getting like a thermal or something so I can try some of that stuff out.
That really, really interests me is the night vision, the thermal stuff, and just the price point isn't there yet for me. And I would love to do it. You know, obviously we have friends that have that, and
do some coyote killing.
Oh, definitely.
Or even the reason I had originally thought about it was because my last place that I was living in had so many skunks and raccoons and stuff.
Yeah.
And so I was thinking
Just
about it for
varmints.
that.
Yeah.
But for coyotes and any of that stuff, it would be amazing.
It would be great.
All those nocturnal animals
Yeah.
that all they're doing is killing livestock and whatnot.
Yeah. Thinking that they got the advantage because of the dark.
I just think it'd be fun, dude.
Messing
Not
with
that I would
nature.
do it while I was drinking or anything.
No.
I just picture
would
myself
never
doing
happen.
that.
just messing with nature. That's what we do. No, come on.
Yeah, it would
I
be
think it
fun.
would be awesome.
Actually, the reason I think about thermal is because, like the night vision stuff, the infrared or whatever,
Sure.
it's so susceptible to, light and whatnot.
Yeah, you
so
have to have
and you got to have those illuminators that shoot out far enough that you can actually see anything.
Yeah.
Whereas the infrared seems to go farther, and it's not as impacted by everything.
No, and I think it's possibly, I guess you could say, is more accurate on targeting certain species if you were using it as a hunting aspect.
Yeah.
You're
One
not-
of my employees, Anthony, he's got a little thermal, and it's actually pretty affordable. I think it comes in at like $1,200, $1,400.
the $1,000.
Yeah.
price
So I
point.
mean, which just a couple years ago you couldn't even get into an entry level for that.
Oh no.
So
Not
so
at
I mean
all.
that's definitely prices are definitely coming down. So I think that's it's at least something that I could save a little bit here and there until I had the money to do it.
Yeah, or at least the R&D something if you do have it for
Well, yeah, I think that's probably how it'll work out. But I'm talking
right.
for your average dude.
No, I've played with a couple of the I guess the monoscope handhelds, which it gives you a good vision of what it is. But then between that and either open sights on the gun, you still have to have
Yeah. Ideally, the best thing would be something that like mounts.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to wear a helmet,
Oh hell no.
so I'm stuck with something that mounts on the gun, basically.
Right.
So you almost need one handheld so you can see it and then know when to get into your gun.
Yeah.
But who knows? It's just something I'm thinking about. I think it'd be fun.
Then you have to obviously look into the legalities of doing something like that.
Yeah, I would never do anything illegal.
No, and I mean it's not the whole. If we were out in a big clear cut one night, say, "Oh, we got some coyotes worked up," and then a game warden happened to pull up.
Oh, yeah.
How are you going to convince them that? Yeah, we were. Fuck that herd of elk over there. We weren't looking at them. We were looking at the coyotes.
Yeah.
Which legitimately, we were there for coyotes, and they're sure.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, you got to be careful what you're doing.
Sure, you were.
I think I'd probably stick with private property so you don't have to worry about that as much.
I can just a total advantage, definitely for the predator control. I would love it. And
you got a lot of predators right there at your place. So.
Yeah, we weren't blessed with lots of acreage, but I do.
You're surrounded by lots of acreage.
I know
though,
good
so.
people, and I know, good property owners that would just love someone to come in and help.
Well, yeah, because
take
you're
care.
having livestock killed right at your fence line all the time.
Going through our yard.
Yeah.
To go, it's terrible. It's totally overran. Your friend out there on their surveillance cameras seen the
Well, so I've got
dogs come through their yard.
my friends they release a bunch of land for their because they're outfitters,
Yeah.
and they've been
Cats.
having all sorts of problems with cats and coyotes.
Yeah.
And So they've actually been going out there
Yeah.
trying to take some of them out because they're killing so many
Legally.
deer,
Yeah.
and they're killing so many calves and
Just
whatnot in the surrounding properties.
Yeah. And they're
But
going.
they just don't have time to do it all,
No.
and it just needs to be, that's back to the whole dog hunting thing. That's,
That would remedy a lot of it right there.
There's not anybody just hunting predators out there anymore.
Quick fix, instant fix, I think.
Yeah.
And just let people actually hunt them.
Yeah, there's not really a county tracker. I mean, there is, but I mean, he's spread so thin.
The
it's not
entire
funny.
county. Yeah.
And then, there's not that. And then the hunting aspect of it's not allowed. So,
Frowned upon.
I mean, really, the only part is that they kind of turn a blind eye a little bit to the ranchers and whatnot, taking some of that problem out. But
that's just common sense, on that part. If it's, you got good people in this jobs, state police, fish and game and stuff like that, they have to have the aspect of,
well, because they have to know what the problem is.
Yeah. And I haven't met too many yet that are strictly one-sided, Earth First, Greenpeace. So it's more of protecting their interest also.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't
Takes
know.
all kinds.
I just think it'd be fun though. For one thing, I try and say I'm not addicted to technology, but I'm always like,
here we are.
I
Look what
always
we're
really
doing.
want to check out the newest thing. So so I want to play with it. I think it'd be fun, and I think setting up a rifle with suppressor and some thermal on it would be not only pretty badass, but it'd be just fun to shoot and fun to play with.
Yes.
I think after you killed a couple things with it, you'd be just freaking stuck. You'd have the freaking
You'd have to go everywhere.
addiction.
Well, honey, I'm going on a trip.
Yeah.
You're more than welcome to go with me.
I think it'd be fun to go over Eastern Oregon.
Yes.
And kill those ground squirrels, sage rats, whatever they call them, those squeaks. Go kill those all day during the day. Have a nice big fat steak and some potatoes and a couple glasses of whiskey for dinner, and then go back out and try and whack some freaking coyotes that come in to eat those dead freaking rats.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it would be a good family outing, I think.
I think it'd be a blast.
There's lots of people that wouldn't see it that way, but
I bet all those ranchers and farmers over there would love you.
Yes.
They'd probably pay you to do it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Instantly opening their gates.
Yeah. I know Sarah's cousins live over there. And
just being respectful to the land and the changing times, We were talking about ballot measures and the political bullshit and just some of the stuff that they're pulling. I don't know. I guess I'm too simple to understand why some of the crap comes up.
Yeah, I don't know. People have some crazy ideas about what's gonna help and what's not. And I think most of them are people that have no clue about what
absolutely
things
zero
are what life is like in this area.
Zero learned experience.
There are people that live in the city and have no concept of farm life or ranch life or whatnot.
Yeah.
They think that they could just go buy their meat from the store.
Yeah. Why would you kill something when you can go to Safeway?
Why would you kill it? You could just go to the store and buy it, That makes no sense at all, but
okay.
I think people honestly think like that.
Yeah. There's a good majority of them that do. Unfortunately.
Yep.
They can't all be cool.
Oh, man. Well, I think we recorded enough, dude. I can at least play with this. And
yeah. I think it'll be great.
Thanks for helping me out.
Anytime.
I think you'll probably end up being my co-host half the time.
You give me a call and I'll be here. Probably 10 minutes I can make it here.
I know you said you want to call in sick to work. So.
Yeah, doctor's appointment. I got to go. Carlos.
Perfect.
He's my doctor.
I am like a doctor.
He said, Umpqua Survival. That's my doctor. Primary care physician, Carlos Arcticon.
Nice. All right. Until next time.
Sweet.